You've earned your right to rot. Now please do it gracefully. That's the message society whispers to you once you retire. And worst of all, some part of you believed it. But we don't agree. Not even a little. Because what's really happening isn't aging. It's a slow unraveling from habits you didn't know were killing you softly with their beige slippers. In this video, we'll break down 4 toxic habits and 2 deliciously hidden ones that are draining your energy in retirement. Now take a breath, sip your tea, and let's begin the great unlearning. Habit 1. Doom scrolling the apocalypse, aka social media binging. You're not browsing. You're self-soothing with chaos. Let me paint a scene. You wake up. It's 6:45 a.m. The birds are chirping. Your bones ache like you wrestled a raccoon in your dreams. You reach for your phone, just to check in. A few harmless minutes. Suddenly it's 8:17 a.m. Your coffee is cold. You've read about 3 political scandals, 6 celebrity divorces, 1 impending climate disaster, and somehow, despite everything, you're now watching a 19-year-old explain how to clean grout with a lemon and a prayer. This isn't information. It's anesthesia. You didn't retire to become an unpaid intern for Facebook's algorithm. But that's what you've become. A full-time content consumer with the attention span of a goldfish at a rave. Let's call this what it is: doom scrolling. It's a polite clinical term for voluntarily feeding your brain garbage until it feels bloated, anxious, and weirdly empty. Buddhist psychology calls this manasikara, unwholesome attention. When you direct your awareness toward distraction and agitation, you become those things, like a sponge soaking up sewage. And the elderly brain, your brain, is especially vulnerable. Neuroplasticity doesn't retire when you do. Your brain is still learning, but now it's learning that your morning purpose is to panic over trending hashtags. It's not just TikTok either. It's cable news. It's YouTube rabbit holes. It's that weird guy on Reddit who insists the government is hiding pyramid technology under Walmart. None of this brings you closer to yourself. It brings you closer to a padded room. In Buddhism, the first step toward freedom is right view, seeing things as they truly are. But how can you see anything clearly when you're buried beneath 87 memes, 42 political rants, and a BuzzFeed quiz that told you your spirit animal is a neurotic alpaca? Every scroll is a step away from now. Every video you don't need to see is a moment you don't live. As Thich Nhat Hanh would say, your attention is your life. So if TikTok owns your attention, TikTok owns your life. I knew a retired man named Jerry. Jerry lived alone, drank instant coffee, and spent 4 hours a day on YouTube. Not to learn Tai Chi or philosophy, no, Jerry watched prank videos every day, all day. He said, "It helps me laugh." But the last time I saw Jerry, he hadn't laughed in weeks. He was angry, irritable, paranoid. He started seeing conspiracy in everything: his mailman, the trees, the neighbor's dog. Jerry didn't need more laughter. Jerry needed silence. Let's get practical. 1. Delete 1 app, not forever. Just 7 days. TikTok, Twitter, Facebook. Pick your poison. Let your brain breathe. 2. Create a sacred morning. No screens for the first 30 minutes. Instead, write a sentence. Sip your tea in silence. Pet your dog and thank him for existing. 3. Ask yourself after scrolling, what did I gain? Did I grow? Did I feel love? Or did I just delay my own awakening? Your mantra for the week: I am not a dumpster for the internet's panic. Say it. Say it with love. Then go take a walk. The sky hasn't been canceled yet. Habit 2. Saying yes when you mean I'd rather wrestle a crocodile. No is a complete sentence and a spiritual act of rebellion. Let me ask you something uncomfortable. When was the last time you said yes to something and then spent 3 days resenting it? Maybe it was a neighbor's potluck. Maybe it was your cousin's 6th retirement party. Maybe it was a Zoom meeting titled "Let's Catch Up" that made you wish the internet would explode. Whatever it was, you didn't want to go. But you went. Because you're nice. Because you don't want to hurt feelings. Because, deep down, you still think you're auditioning for something. Here's the truth. You're retired. You don't owe anybody your time. And if saying no makes someone like you less, they didn't like you. They liked your compliance. Elderly psychology tells us this. Many older adults struggle with people-pleasing, not because they're weak, but because their self-worth was built on being useful. For decades, your value came from showing up, saying yes, being agreeable. But in retirement, that dynamic turns toxic. Now you're giving away your time like it's coupons for soup. Every yes that should have been a no quietly erodes your peace. You say yes to brunch, and now you're stuck in a sunroom listening to Diane explain her bowel routine in excruciating detail. In Buddhism, the concept of right speech includes saying only what is true, necessary, and kind. Saying yes when your whole soul is screaming no? That's not kindness. That's fear with good posture. Ram Dass said, "The quieter you become, the more you can hear. But you can't hear your truth over the noise of performative politeness." Saying no isn't rude. It's the sound of your soul setting boundaries with a smile. Meet Evelyn, 72. Widowed, sweet as lemon pie. Evelyn once agreed to join a weekly church knitting circle, even though she doesn't knit, hates small talk, and is allergic to wool. Why? Because her neighbor asked with puppy eyes and a casserole. 6 months later, Evelyn developed a twitch, not from wool, but from rage. Now, every time someone says, "It'll be fun," she instinctively reaches for her pepper spray. How to say no without guilt or a restraining order. 1. Start with, "Let me get back to you." It buys you time. It breaks the automatic yes response. It lets you check in with your gut instead of your guilt. 2. Practice micro boundaries. No, I don't answer texts after 8 p.m. No, I don't do back-to-back social events. No, I won't attend a dinner that starts after sunset unless there's cake and Jesus. 3. Write your hell yes list. These are things that make you light up. If it's not a hell yes, it's a holy no. Honor both. Your mantra for the week: no is sacred, no is sanity, no is freedom wearing yoga pants. Say it with breath, say it with laughter, say it while slowly backing away from the bake sale sign-up sheet. Habit number 3. Treating your body like a leased car. This isn't a rental. You don't get a new one at 100, no matter how many kale smoothies you drink. Let's not sugarcoat this. Some of us have treated our bodies like a convenience store microwave, overused, undercleaned, and only appreciated when it's too late and something starts leaking. Maybe you used to say things like, "I don't have time to work out. I'll sleep when I'm dead." Or my personal favorite, "Wine has grapes. Grapes are fruit. Therefore, I'm basically a health nut." Cute. But now, you wake up and your hip makes a sound like someone stepping on a bag of tortilla chips. That's not a quirk. That's your body saying, "Hello? Remember me?" Here's a harsh truth. Your body isn't punishing you. It's responding to decades of postponement. All those mornings you skipped breakfast and replaced it with stress. All those nights you skipped sleep and replaced it with Seinfeld reruns and scotch. Your body took notes, and now it's reading them back in all caps. The elderly body is like an honest friend. It will tell you exactly what it thinks of your decisions, through inflammation, insomnia, and the mysterious pain that only shows up when you sneeze. In Buddhism, your body is not an enemy. It's not a problem to be solved. It's your first teacher, your first meditation cushion, your first mirror. But most of us treat it like the floor mat in a rental car, something to stomp through life with, as long as it still kind of works. And here's the spiritual kicker. Neglecting your body is not just unwise. It's a form of self-abandonment. It says, "I've given up on you." And once you do that, your soul hears it, loud and clear. Last month I had dinner with a friend. Let's call him Larry. Larry is 69, proud, and believes vegetables are a government conspiracy. He ordered a full rack of ribs, a giant sweet tea, and 2 desserts just to taste. At 2 a.m. Larry texted me, "I think I died. I can taste smoke in my spine." The next morning he described it as waking up inside a barbecue pit, inside a hangover, inside a regret spiral. He hasn't eaten ribs since. Moral of the story? Your mouth may lie. Your body never does. How to treat your body like it's worthy, because it is. 1. Move daily, even if it's ugly. A 15-minute walk counts. So does awkward stretching. So does yelling namaste while touching your toes and crying. Just move. 2. Choose one holy habit. Pick one thing. Water before coffee, stretching before scrolling, breathing before complaining. Let it anchor you. 3. Talk to your body like a friend. Seriously. Try saying, "Hey knees, I see you. I'm sorry about the squats in 1987. Let's work together now." Your mantra for the week? This is my temple. I will sweep the floor. I will light the candles. I will stop feeding it ribs at midnight. Your body is not failing you. It's begging you to show up. Habit number 4. Winging it. Through life with no plan, no map, and no pants. Freedom without intention isn't peace. It's just very polite entropy. Let's talk about that phrase people love to say after they retire. Now I can finally do whatever I want, whenever I want. Sounds glorious, doesn't it? Until you realize, whatever I want usually turns into wandering into the kitchen 17 times before noon, arguing with your spouse about whether it's Wednesday, and watching HGTV until you develop strong emotional opinions about backsplash tile. Here's the inconvenient truth. Most retired people who claim they love spontaneity are actually just avoiding structure because it reminds them of work. But the absence of structure doesn't create joy, it creates drift. In elderly psychology, this is called disorientation by freedom. It's when the sudden lack of external direction leads to internal confusion. No goals, no anchors, no rhythms, no rest, no purpose, quiet panic. And it's sneaky, because you're not in pain, you're just not really anywhere. You float from room to room like a ghost in orthopedic socks. In Buddhism, freedom is not doing whatever I feel like, that's just ego with a day pass. True freedom is found in intentional rhythm, the gentle repetition of mindful acts. Meditation at sunrise, tea at dusk, a morning walk, an evening bow. It's not about control, it's about returning to yourself, to the moment, to meaning. Without a path, you don't wander, you leak. I once knew a retired couple, we'll call them Bob and Linda. Bob and Linda decided to throw away their calendars after retiring. Let's just live, they said. By week 2, they were having full-blown arguments about what day it was. By week 4, they both showed up to a dentist appointment on the wrong day, wearing each other's socks. Eventually, they created what they now call spiritual structure. Tuesday was walk by the lake day. Wednesday was silent breakfast day. Friday was let's laugh at the news headlines and eat pancakes day. And for the first time in retirement, they felt alive again. How to add just enough structure to save your soul. 1. Name your days. Not with chores with meaning. Mondays are for movement. Wednesdays equals write a letter. Fridays equals friend call. 2. The Sunday check-in. Each week, take 15 minutes to ask what would make this week meaningful. Not productive, meaningful. 3. Plan one sacred moment per day. It could be lighting a candle at sunset, journaling before bed, or dancing like a lunatic to Marvin Gaye in your living room. Pick one. Honor it. Your mantra for the week: I do not need a schedule. I need a soul rhythm. You don't need to micromanage your time. You just need to stop throwing it into the void like a boomerang you hope never comes back. Because time in retirement is no longer money. It's meaning. Habit 5. Treating the past like a Netflix series you won't stop rewatching. You can't walk forward while staring at the rearview mirror. But go ahead, try it. Just wear a helmet. There's something strange that happens after 60. The past begins to sparkle. Like a filtered Instagram photo, everything behind you starts looking golden, simple, meaningful, even important. You tell yourself, things were better then. I used to be somebody. Back when people still respected their elders and gas was affordable. And then, without realizing it, you've set up camp in a museum of your own memories. You've stopped living, you've started curating, you've become the unpaid tour guide to a life that no longer exists. In elderly psychology, this is called ruminative nostalgia. Replaying the past not for joy, but to avoid the discomfort of the unknown. Yes, reflection can be healing. Yes, stories are beautiful. But here's the danger. When your past becomes your identity, the present becomes irrelevant. You stop asking, who am I becoming? And instead keep chanting, who was I before I had to wear orthopedic shoes and ask people to repeat themselves at dinner parties? In Buddhism, we're taught to remember impermanence. Clinging to the past is like gripping a lotus after it's wilted. It was beautiful. It meant something. But now it's compost. And compost has a purpose too, to grow something new. If your joy depends on remembering how things used to be, your soul is standing still. And guess what happens to still water? It stagnates. There's a man in my neighborhood named Walter. Walter used to be a baseball coach, war veteran, high school principal, and possibly a spy, but he won't confirm. Every week, Walter dusts his old trophies. Not just a quick swipe, a full ceremonial cleaning while humming Sinatra. But one day, I asked him, "Do you still play ball?" He looked at me like I'd just asked if he was fluent in dolphin. He laughed and said, "Oh no, those days are over." So I said, "Then maybe it's time you let those trophies be what they are, souvenirs, not altars." How to break up with the past, gently like a Buddhist ghost. 1. Write a letter to your younger self. Thank them, mourn them, forgive them. Then burn the letter and use the ashes to fertilize a new houseplant. Literally. 2. Create, don't just remember. Paint, journal, take bad selfies. Make soup without a recipe. Let your past inform your art, not define it. 3. Tell your story, but end it in the now. Instead of back in my day, try, here's what I learned, and here's how I'm still using it. Your mantra for the week: I honor my past, but I don't live there. I'm not a ghost, I'm a gardener. Because the truth is, you're not finished. You're just in a new chapter. And no one wants to hear the same psalm forever, not even you. Habit 6, collecting stuff like you're building a pyramid. Your kids don't want your spoons. They want you to stop talking to your Tupperware like it's family. Let me just say it. You are not a pharaoh. You are not going to be buried with your 3 can openers, 47 mismatched coffee mugs, and that drawer of tangled chargers from the Bush administration. And yet, there's a strange gravitational pull that happens in retirement. Suddenly, every old receipt has sentimental value. Every cracked bowl has character. And that broken lamp you swore you'd fix in 1992 has now become a symbol of resilience. But here's what's really happening. You're clinging to objects as if they'll stop time. You're surrounding yourself with clutter because it feels safer than emptiness. And deep down, you're afraid that letting go of stuff means letting go of yourself. In elderly psychology, this is called object permanence anxiety. The idea that your worth, your legacy, or even your existence is tied to your belongings. It's not greed. It's fear. Fear that if you don't hold on to the things that prove you once mattered, maybe you won't. But here's the truth. No one gets remembered for their Pyrex collection. Buddhism teaches that clinging is the cause of suffering. And nothing screams clinging like a house that looks like a garage sale met a museum and lost control. Your things are not your identity. They're just things. And the more you carry, the heavier your spirit becomes. Until one day you realize you can't dance in a burning house full of Beanie Babies. A woman I once knew, we'll call her Margaret, collected souvenir spoons, over 300 of them. Each one from a different place she never actually visited. They were gifts, she said. Symbols of dreams deferred. When her daughter came to help clean out her house, she said, "Mom, what do I do with all these?" Margaret whispered, "Bury them with me." That was the moment her daughter started therapy. How to break the clutter curse without crying. 1. One item per room. Every week, pick one thing to release. Thank it, bless it, then donate, recycle, or ceremonially throw it into the abyss or a donation bin. 2. Have the death drawer talk. Yes, that drawer, the one with the keys, receipts, ancient batteries, and 13 pens that don't work. Go through it, laugh at it, then simplify it. 3. Ask yourself, will this matter to anyone when I'm gone? If the answer is no or I'm not sure, that's your cue. Let it go. Your mantra for the week: I am not my things, I am not my clutter, I am not the box labeled misc in the attic. Let go. You'll feel 10 pounds lighter, and you might actually find your remote. So here we are. You made it. You survived all 6 habits, each one sneakier than the last. Let's recap, shall we? You stopped doom scrolling because watching the end of the world shouldn't be your morning routine. You learned that saying yes when your soul means no is just lying. Politely, you started treating your body like a temple, not a rental car with expired plates. You finally realized that winging it in retirement is just code for spiritual decay in sweatpants. You let go of the past, not because it was bad, but because you don't live there anymore. And you gave your clutter a funeral, instead of forcing your grandkids to sort through a drawer full of mystery chords and regret. And if any of that made you laugh, cringe, or whisper, "Damn, that's me," you're not alone. You're human. Which, let's be honest, is a little embarrassing, but also kind of beautiful. If something in this video sparked a tiny moment of awareness, hit that like button. If a story reminded you of someone, maybe yourself, drop a comment below. This is your sangha now. And if you want to help us keep making strange loving wisdom for people over 60 who are too smart to go quietly, subscribe. Let's reach 1,000 together. We're not getting older, we're just waking up in weirder bodies. Until next time, walk gently, laugh often, declutter spiritually. Namaste, and no, you don't have to RSVP to the next potluck.